Where ignorance is bliss, it's folly to be wise. But is a dumb boy and a parrot? Open my eyes. In the morning when I gone to work and leave me house, like my girlfriend used to entertain, she boyfriend rouse. Every evening I would feed this parrot red pepper, and the dumb boy used to get a half of my supper. We became friends because I was kind, and this is how they trying to tell me in pantomime. The boy said, ooh, ah, e, oh, oh, and he pointing straight at me back door. Hey, 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 the parrot say, walla, walla, bing, bang, in there. I didn't stop to study this boy too well, and the story that the parrot trying to tell. I'm coming home from work as usual this day, and my girlfriend tried to greet me in the usual way, but like she fed the man my whiskey and got him drunk, so she hid him in the bathroom in my bathing trunk. And as I reach in, she plant a kiss on me mouth. The parrot stoops and the dumb boy cock up his snout. He start again, ooh, ah, boom, boom, boom. And he pointing straight at the bathroom. Hey, 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 Glorito say, walla, walla, bing, bang, in day. I came home next evening about 10:30, and it was kinda late to feed my pantomime friend. I reached in the yard, the parrot started to bawl. The boy sleeping, but the parrot won't sleep at all. So I fed him some red pepper in a butter pan. He so vexed, man, he pelting, bite at me hand. The dumb boy wake up when the parrot said, look, something pointed growing out from your forehead. He start again, ah, af, af, af. Man, the parrot bust out a big laugh. Hey, 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 Glorito say, walla, walla, bing, bang, today. At length and at last, I finally saw why this boy was only pointing at my back door. I surprised them by passing in the back road, and as I coming in, the boyfriend was going out. But this is something I couldn't understand. He had something like a chicken leg in his hand. So I went in the kitchen and peeped in the brew, not realizing I was gazing at parrot stew. The boy said, ah, eh, eh, eh. Meaning he ain't want no food today. Hey, hey, hey. My girlfriend say you eat walla walla bing bang today.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
All right. Hey, good evening. Let's start off with this news here that Neil Marks is trying to embarrass the folks at the Guyana Press Association, all because he wasn't able to get his way. And we just want to remind you guys, you've got to be very careful. The PPP's objective is to control everything, dominate and control. That's what they're about, nothing else. Just dominate, control. They're not concerned about you. They're not concerned about anything. So we just want to remind you about this. And we start off with Neil. marks. Right. So sorry about that. I took a quick pause just for a moment. My name is Mark Benchap, and welcome to Straight Up. I must apologize for not being able to make it last evening, and sometimes things happen. I have some really tough things to do. Exams. Okay, I might as well just get straight to the point. Tonight, I'm going to be up a little late, so I got my coffee. Yep. Black coffee. All right, sorry about that. I should be telling you guys this. I should be far more professional. Just come and say, hey, good evening. Welcome to Straight Up. Let's rock and roll. I apologize for not being able to be on last evening, and just get the heck on with the program, right? Tell you guys about coffee and who drink coffee and who not. You know what I mean? All right. So, hey, what can we talk about? I think our operator says that we have JR and we have Wayne on and so forth. But before we go to them, let me just say congratulations. And all of you would say congratulations. All of you remember when they snatched former Minister of Finance, Winston Jordan. They snatched him, they charged him, trumped up charges against the man, and all manner of things. Trumped up charges against the man. And this is what they do, because they have lots and lots of trumped up charges against a lot of other folks. I don't know if they have any evidence against any of them. But what I do know is that the charges against Winston Jordan was trumped up. The charges against Roxanne Myers and others trumped up. The charges against Trevor Benn trumped up, and all these things. And so we've got to remind you folks about these trumped up charges. And so guess what? The magistrate actually accepted a no case submission. In other words, there's no evidence, there's nothing. And Winston Jordan, former finance minister under the coalition government, walked a free man. Free man. And guess who is upset about this? Anil Nandalal is upset because they're losing all these cases. And look at the man that's responsible for that. Majority of the cases, the PPP is losing. Majority of the cases, Anil Nandalal is losing. They would have lost the elections petitions as well if they had not just got a bunch of jiggery-pokery stuff that they did, all because they didn't want, and they do not want the elections petitions to be heard in the court. And the guy, the tough guy, you've got to watch out for him, Roysdale Ford. Kudos to Roysdale Ford. He seemed to be winning a heck of a lot. Well, he has experience. He's been there, political experience, legal experience. Kudos to Roysdale Ford, senior counsel and member of parliament, and also Don Holder Cush. Don Holder Cush, former magistrate there in Guyana. Together they teamed up, and they were able to they won this case. So congratulations, guys. Congratulations, Don Cush, and congratulations to Roysdale Ford, and of course, by extension, the opposition. Congratulations to all, but more importantly is the lawyers who represented, because the lawyers are the ones who have to do the legal works. They got to do the research. They got to go into court and argue. And so, congrats. All right, these guys are going places. Roysdale Ford, keep an eye out for him. Strong political leadership. You never know. All right, so what else is it that we can talk about? We have our operator has signaled that we have J.R. Crawford with us. We're waiting for Wayne Caesar to join us shortly. But let me take you guys back to 2017. If you recognize this individual, let us know. If you recognize this individual, let us know. If you recognize this individual, let us know. Somebody's asking Jennifer is asking, Mark, did you address Neil Marks? And we deal with important things here. Neil Marks is old news, done news. We don't move on. Neil Marks is no importance at this point in time, probably will never be. And there's nothing for us to discuss here. We've already done that in the beginning. We close it off. We're done with it. Thank you, Jenny's. All these bookers, Booker. We got Jennifer, we got Denise, we got Jenny's. Holy smoke, the entire Bostonian crew. All right, so this is what this guy said. This is what this guy said. Back in 2017, well, in 2011, but I reminded them in 2017. This is what he said in 2011, sorry. Not so long ago, and I posted this, 2017, says Jagdev met with members of a group of Rastafarians at the launch of the International Year for People of African Descent, IYPAD. Okay? And boldly declared to the group that, and I quote, this marijuana business, I think it will outlive my presidency. There will be no change in the law whilst I am here. I hope you Rasta guys are listening, you know. Again, I hope you Rasta guys are listening. Jagdev says that as long as he is here, it will be no change. There will be no change in the law whilst he is there. I hope the Rastafarian guys, I hope the Rastas are listening. Just like he has fooled them, he is fooling the people in New Amsterdam. They are fooling the people in Georgetown. And, you know, they get these little infomercials or commercials or whatever you call it. They got those little things, and they're talking about, they have people who are talking. Oh, the place is going to be developed. For 23 years, this rascal, not Rasta, this rascal couldn't develop, couldn't do anything for the people of New Amsterdam. They couldn't do anything for the people of Georgetown. They didn't. They could have, but they wanted to stifle, economically and otherwise, stifle the people of New Amsterdam, the people of Georgetown, and the people in Linden. And for them, they believe control is when they have everybody there. When they are in control of things, that is when they're going to release the money. Don't be fooled. Don't buy into that crap. Let's get over our operator, Lemon. Good evening to Lemon. Is telling us that J.R. Crawford is with us. We can't wait any longer for Wayne Caesar. Wayne wants to make a grand entrance, right? And when he walks in, we must stop what we're doing and just clap and say, oh, there goes Wayne. But Wayne will be with us shortly as well. Curtis Lutchman is saying 10,000 and a box of cook-up. Mr. Crawford, good evening to you, sir.
Good evening.
Good to see you. Are the folks in New Amsterdam still getting 10,000 a box of cook-up?
I think last week they were sharing out some monies on there. This past
What's
Saturday.
your reaction? What are you, because word on the ground is people are taking the money and they're dashing away the T-shirts. We are seeing evidence of that. They're dashing the T-shirts.
That is,
go ahead, sir.
That is true in some instances, but you'll find some people are going to go there for the money, as they told me. Things are tough. They're going to take it, and then they will do what they have to do at the election time. I still do not cotton to the idea that taking monies and then you're going to guarantee a swing around.
Exactly.
Once you start to develop a bad habit, you're going to want to continue it, because they're saying when the coalition was in office, a lot of young black guys were not given money-making opportunities.
Yeah, indeed. We are hearing all the excuses upon excuses. I want folks, our listeners, and good evening to all of you who have just joined us. We are joined by Wayne Caesar. He's with us. Wayne, good night. How are you, sir? Good night, Wayne. How are you?
Good evening, Mark. Good evening, listeners, viewers. I'm doing
Yeah,
fine. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope
yeah.
everyone is keeping well.
We are great, thank you. And now we want to let the people know that this is millions upon millions of dollars, and they're calling green Guyana green. Look what they did. They got a fake green grass that looked like a green carpet that they got from some thrift store, put up a couple of old benches, paint it over for 30, $40 million. They put this so-called park together. This is in New Amsterdam, what Irfan Ali went and he opened. Look at this. That's grass. And the other day it rained. You guys know what happened. It rained and look what happened. Look what happened to it. Look. What's happening there, GR? Talk to us about what we're seeing here and the wastefulness of the wasting of money. Sorry. But
Look,
before we get to GR, let's have Wayne Caesar to take a bite of the wasting of money, taxpayers' money.
Right, exactly, Mark. Totally agree with you here. This is a waste of money. Um, we have sectors that need a lot of work. Instead of moving ahead with these projects, we should address some of the sectors that need addressing. For example, in the South Ramvelt area, there was blackout from 2 a.m. this morning until 8. It still wasn't on as yet. So it shows that we have a lot of infrastructural work that needs to be done to the electrical grid in Guyana. We also need to build out an additional grid and totally repair this one so that we have somewhat a backup. We should not be having blackouts. I sure JR, you and Mark both born into blackouts. You guys born with Guyana being in blackout from time to time.
No,
We
no, no,
should
no,
not.
no. In Linden, back in those days, and plus, I don't know about GR, but I didn't born into blackout. I don't know back in them days if Port Morant had blackout and them kind of things, because I'm almost certain that GR born at Port Morant Hospital.
no, I was born in Alnesville.
Yeah, you guys inform me, please.
Right? But back in those days, because I'm an old man now, they had lights. Linden was like, and big up to the folks from Linden. Linden was like a little New York. Linden was considered what is it, Dubai now? Linden was the Dubai of Guyana. Linden was the engine of economic growth for entire Guyana. Because at that time, they were shutting down, they were burning cane fields and all manner of things. And the bauxite industry was the industry that was able to sustain and make everybody get fat in Guyana. So it wasn't blackout in Linden. As soon as I born, I saw light.
So Mark,
Born into
question for
light.
you: did Linden have their own grid?
Yeah, the bauxite industry, they
Okay,
got their own
well,
stuff.
hence the reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but outside of that, Georgetown, when we visited relatives in Georgetown, they hardly had blackouts. The blackouts came about and started gradually from 1990, 91, but it increased in 92, October, when the PPP took over. Let's be realistic, because
Okay.
Desmond Hoyt government, President Desmond Hoyt, the late Desmond Hoyt, had things under control. The economy started to pick up back under what is called the ERP, the Economic Recovery Program. And that is what was able to sustain when the PPP took office in 1992. They had no plan, they had no policy, they had nothing. They came in basically as a bunch of dunderheads, didn't know what to do. Look, the foreign affairs was in a mess because bicycle thief Rohi was the foreign affairs minister. He didn't know what to do other than fire a set of people because of their ethnicity. And I recall there was one woman was able to keep her job because her last name was Singh. Her name was Telma Singh. She was able to keep her job. All the other black folks, all the other African Guyanese were fired. They were sacked. There were others who kept their job. Shahabuddin, I believe he kept his job. Sridhar Ramphal kept his job. And Dr. Rudy Insanali kept his job. Telma Singh kept her job. All the other black faces, all the other African Guyanese were terminated. They were kicked out. But I tell you guys the story about Telma Singh. Telma Singh wasn't kicked out because Rohi and the PPP thought that Telma Singh was an Indian woman. But when they went in the Consular General's office in Manhattan and they saw that Telma Singh was not an Indian woman, she was given a rough time. I say all of this to say that the PPP started with their crap from the minute they took over. And then after that, they went to GBC and cleaned out house. Margaret Lawrence, Phyllis Jackson, you name it. All of those people, Clem David, Roger Moore, Basil Bradshaw, all of them kicked out as a result of the PPP vendetta. As it pertains to blackout, these people couldn't manage the Guyana, what is it? It changed to GPL. They couldn't manage it, the electric GEC. They couldn't manage anything. Everything started to run down. And for 23 years, they ran the goddamn country down. They destroyed Linden. They destroyed New Amsterdam. They destroyed Georgetown. They destroyed Bartica. They didn't give a damn about what was going on in Lethem because they thought our indigenous brothers and sisters were only worthy of a boat engine. So you give them a boat engine and they were happy. But thankfully, things began to change when the coalition took office. We saw the changes. It is as though Guyana was able to breathe again. Now we're back to square one. Sorry, guys, I took a lot because I just had to get that out. Mr. Crawford, your take, please.
Mark, before I get to the contractors, what I want to remind people that Winston Jordan, what he went through, he was the one who was assisting the PPP for years doing their budgets, and yet, they wrongfully arrested him and charged him. So this is something for those who think that drinking soup is good. They should remember, if Jordan was doing so much to make the PPP budget back in the years before the coalition got in office, and then they could put him in front of the court, what are they going to do to these little fly-by-night soup drinkers?
Well, let us say this. I get your point, but we don't want to put Mr. Winston Jordan in the bracket of like these flat-foot hustlers. Mr. Winston Jordan has been there even before the PPP, the Budget and Management section of the Ministry of Finance. He has been there. And he helped to train Jack Deere as well. Because when Jack Deere returned from Russia, it was the PNC he worked under.
Mark.
Right in the budget. So 1 second, sir. He worked under the PNC. The PNC wasn't vindictive towards him and kicked him out because of his party affiliation, or kicked him out because of his ethnicity, or kicked him out because of his sexual orientation. It never happened. And so because Winston Jordan is a professional, he remained there even throughout the PPP's term. So let's not put him in the category of those PPP
Mark,
drinkers.
whatever you're saying, no, Mark. What I'm trying to explain to the people is that Jordan, regardless of his academic achievements and whatever, and professional life, he helped the PPP when they were in office. Yet they turn around and drag them in front of the court. The ungratefulness. And this is an eye-opener for the ones who think that, the former mayor and all of these things in New Amsterdam, that they are suddenly become darlings of the PPP.
But Mr. Crawford, I get your point. Mr. Jordan is a professional. He's an economist. Don't compare him to them flat-foot hustlers.
I'm not comparing him. What I'm saying, the treatment, he was dragged there because of ethnicity. And nobody's going to take that away from me, buddy. Look at who is being dragged in front of the courts.
No, nobody. I'm not arguing against that. I'm not. But I'm saying that Winston Jordan was there not as a soup drinker. He was there as a professional.
I hear you. Anyway, point taken.
Jack Deere has this thing against. He has this kind of fixation for black men. We've got to be, and if he can't control you as a black man, he's going to find a way to rope. I shouldn't be using the word rope you in, but he's going to find a way to get back at you. Look, we can talk about Chris Gale. We can talk about Trevor Ben. We can talk about all these black men that he went after because he can't control them. Look at how he behaved with Chris Gayle, as though Chris Gayle belongs to him and that Chris Gayle shouldn't go nowhere else. It was a Chris Gayle and Chris Gayle. He was hurt. He started to cry. I don't know, man. But I get your point, though, Mr.
Mr.
Crawford.
Benchop.
I get your
Mr.
point. I
Benchop.
don't like when you use professionals.
Mr. Benchop.
1 second, sir. And put them next to soup drinker. Or you gonna
Mr.
put
Benchop.
next to a
I
tractor
pointed
farmer?
out that because of the
We can't
ethnicity
go with each other, sir.
thing.
Don't put them next to flat.
Mr. Benchop,
But go ahead.
just a point for the listeners and yourself. When Jack Day was on the way to Russia to study, they got put out of the plane in London. And it was my cousin, Mrs. Parks, who had to beg for them to continue that journey to go on to study. And that's a black woman from Rosal.
Okay, good.
Good.
Congratulations to that.
Let's move on now. The contractors
in other words,
there.
African Guyanese have been rescuing Jack Deere practically all of his life.
Good.
Yeah. And don't think
Anyway,
that he doesn't
enough of that
think
part,
that he
right?
doesn't like- don't
Let's
think
go
that
to
he
New
doesn't-
Amsterdam. These contractors.
Don't think that he doesn't like black folks, you know.
I never said anything on that part. I know what I know.
Think that too, right? But
I know what I know.
we know what he. But go ahead, sir. Continue.
On a serious note, in New Amsterdam, many of these contractors are not, they're not contractors per se. They are people who formulate a company and by association, politically, were given these high-paying contracts to go there. And hence the reason for us to see these kinds of work. And that is why we're getting these inferior quality of work, because it's not given by people who know what they're doing. It's given by party affiliates. And that is part of the vote buying process, where there are some people who got contracts that only employ PPP people. And that's the imbalance that we're seeing that's causing the problem. Every Guyanese must be able to put themselves in a position where they can get contracts based upon their ability and their knowledge. But where we're seeing now, we're seeing buddyism. And that is why they have to do that so they could fill their pockets and have the kickback. And the citizens are left to have inferior, work being done in their areas. And we need to have this pointed out. All these contracts need to be made public, and we need to be hammering this on a weekly basis.
Every single day, we should be doing that. So true. Look, I can't mess around Crawford and Caesar. They got you guys have a lot of support there. They just throw me in the trench by saying Crawford wasn't saying that Jordan is a soup drinker. I know that, but what I got ticklish about is when he mentioned the word soup drinker and then mentioned a overgrown crapo from New Amsterdam and Mr. Jordan at the same time. I'm like, no, don't even mention that overgrown crapo and soup drinker.
You might be dragged into court, you know.
Is a professional. Wayne, come on in. Let's get your. Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Wayne, what's going on, man? What's bothering you?
Just want to add a little bit on Mr. Winston Jordan. First of all, I think he's one of the most highly decorated economists and finance ministers in Guyana. It's between him and Mr. Carl Greenwich, I would say, was two of the very best at that position. I think what the PPP was doing there, they just wanted to, drag him into the court system and just totally abuse him, But I am happy that, the judge ruled correctly, and this is all going to be put to rest. But also for Mr. Jordan, he sees, because he would have worked with the PPP, and as Mark said, he's the consummate professional, and that's what a professional is able to do. Except to the circumstances, his or her duties, and that's what this man, he is the I do have, and not just myself, I know a lot of people do have a lot of respect for him.
All right, so I mean,
and Mark, I want to touch quick on the
compared to what we have had for the 23 years, he was way ahead. Not perfect, but way ahead of Jack Dew and all the others. Ashni Singh, well, Asghar Ali tried. They didn't like Asghar, so they had to kick Asghar out. And junior finance minister was Jack Dew. And then after Jack Dew talked Asghar name at Freedom House, they decided to kick Asghar out and said Asghar wasn't a real PPP guy because he spent 20 something years in Jamaica and all manner of things. And so they knock out poor Asghar Ali because that's how Jack Day got his job as senior finance minister. He talked Asghar Ali's name. He's Susu. He's accustomed this Susuing business. He don't make joke with this Susuing thing. But Mr. Caesar, Susu to us, please. You were saying something.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to talk, touch a little bit on what JR was talking about with the contractors and the work being this first and foremost.
Before you, 1 second.
Yes.
Let me address Piri Piri, whoever Piri Piri is. Don't be fooled. And you see, this is where y'all got to sit down and be objective. Again, I said Winston Jordan wasn't the perfect finance minister. But compared to what Guyanese have been accustomed to for the past 23 years, he was way ahead of them. Now, there was when the PPP was in office, 16% VAT, value-added tax, 16%, the most burdensome of taxes upon the entire nation. They were able to reduce that to 14%. Then they had to study the economy. They didn't have the oil, billions of dollars of oil revenue and all these things. They had to have done something. They had to sit, they had to study. Oh, there's a country to be run. There is a country to be run. And so let's not give the impression that he went in there and he raised taxes and he did this and he did that and he was bad. And so, no. Again, he wasn't perfect. More could have been done, yes. But taking a country over after 26 years of misery, after 26 years of destruction by the PPPC regime, come on. They had to start somewhere. They had to do something to get revenues, and they tried their best. So I will give Jordan a passing grade. I'm not going to give him an A+. I'm not going to give him an A or an A-. I will give him a B+. More could have been done. But go ahead, Mr. Caesar.
Yeah, I wanted to touch a little bit, Mark, on the whole contract situation with these contracted workers. I feel like if this whole part of the PPP campaign strategy, and it's totally wrong, I think we need to revisit the laws when it comes to campaigning and how funds are allocated towards campaigning, because there should be a donor system. Government and taxpayers' money should not be used for campaigning. And that is exactly what this lawless regime is doing. They're taking monies that belongs to the people and trying to get the people to sign on with the PPPC with their own money that actually belongs to the people. So Guyanese have to wisen up and make sure that they don't give out their names and their information to have their information placed on lists. They have to be very, very careful with that.
They've got to be very careful indeed. Well, we just got this wanted bulletin. I don't know. They're picking these guys up, but the big fish and the big drug lords and all these people are not wanted for money laundering and so forth. But they always, I don't know who these folks are. Reyaz Ali, and then there's Jennifer Maria Ali Ne Ramnarain. I don't know who they are, but these small seem to be small people. They're publishing wanted bulletins for them for money laundering. And some of the biggest money launderers are in the private sector commission. Some of the biggest money launderers are connected to the installed PPP regime. But they're not going out. Well, I don't know if these guys are big fishes or what. I don't know. But they look like small hustlers, if you ask me. Mr. Crawford, What else is happening in the country there that we can talk about? What is your take on this guy and how they attempted to control the GPA, but they didn't get through at all? Your take, Mr. Crawford.
I think it was unprofessional of Neil Marks to cry foul. You know, it's it was there was a election he lost. He should have bowed gracefully and leave it alone. But again, we're seeing the control mentality. Everything must be in certain people's hands, and that is a problem because they want the media to put out stuff there that will be on a PPP wavelength instead of across the board. So I mean, it's unfortunate, but luckily, things went the right way.
Of course, certainly things went the right way. You want to say in this thing while this on this matter, when I say this thing, I meant this matter. Sorry, this matter here as it concerns the Guyana Press Association, Mr. Caesar.
Yes. First and foremost, Mark, I want to say top congratulations to Miss Nazima Ragabir. Um, she's authentic, she's independent, she's unbiased, and that is what we want in Guyana. She profoundly put a good, profound licking on Mr. Neil Marks, 70 to 25. The next time I rung, I look to see, 100 out of 100 for her. That's the person that we want to be in control of the Guyana Press Association, someone who will not waver to pressure. Um, a la Miss Claudette Singh, you can look at this young lady and use her as an example. The Guyana Press Association is in good hands. The future is bright with this young lady. She's young, so we have.
So let me. You're speaking of young lady. Let me not confuse our listeners. Let me take this the photograph of Neil Marks off so you can give Nazima
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Yes, because yes, I'm talking about Miss Nazima.
Miss Nazima Ragabir. Sorry
Yes.
about that, but yeah, thank
Yes.
you. Go ahead.
So the Guyana Press Association is in very, very, very good hands. And then I heard Mr. Marks and even Jack Dio talk about lists. Some nerve to talk about lists. We have a voters list that need to be cleaned up. That's the list we need to be talking about, not the Guyana Press Association list. They have some nerve to come out and talk about a list. These guys have no shame whatsoever.
Absolutely, none whatsoever. If Jack Deere wants a list, it probably has a long list. He can go wrong now by the cathedral. There's a long list right there waiting for him, for his specialty. Mr. Crawford, what else we can talk about? Local government
Mark,
elections around the corner. Go ahead, sir.
what I've noticed, I'm seeing that we're borrowing monies, 5 million US here, 150 million there. We have the oil money. Why are we keep borrowing from other people? Why are we tying our hands to other people to pay interest on monies that we can provide for ourselves, to provide goods and services? You know, these things are disturbing to the citizens. They should see, if you borrowing 5 million to shore up some educational deal, why not take it from our natural resource fund so we don't have to pay back interest? Why is it that we're always borrowing and we are pumping so much oil out of there? 360,000 barrel oil per day, but the minimum base price is about $80 a barrel. Why is it that we have all these great planners there that has been installed, and we are having all these loans out there? Who is going to pay back the loan, and at what cost to the nation will we be paying this back?
That is a part of corruption, because when they go and take 5 million, of course they're going to dip their hand, but the accountant is Caesar. Go ahead, Mr. Caesar.
Well, Mark, first of all, they're going to do whatever they please to do. Why? Because first of all, they're not being transparent. That's number one. We're not seeing where the monies are being allocated. I say this over and over again, and that's a part of transparency. We need to have reports
But
that's showing line by line where the monies are being allocated.
While we're asking, and we Guyanese people are demanding accountability and transparency, You just said something there that, for me, um, you know, it is not like the people don't know where the money is going. We know where the money is going. So we can't say we don't know. We know it's going into their bank accounts, into their pockets. It's corruption. That is where the money is going. And it's being given to corrupt so-called overnight contractors. Just imagine Critic is a contractor. Just imagine. All these little lagu bagu, these pakus, these overnight overgrown crapos are contractors, are building roads. They're given hundreds of millions of dollars to build roads, to build this, to build that. That's where the money is going. A form of corruption, massive corruption. I don't know. Continue, Mr. Accountant, please.
Yeah, Mark, we must. What they're doing, they're denying us the ability to source these monies exactly where they're going. Okay, because if we conduct forensic audits, we'll be able to see exactly where these monies are going. But the PPP will not allow that. And that's why I keep saying all the time the Guyanese people have to be on top of their game. They have to remove this government, Mark. You know, it's consistent. Listen, this election in 2025 may not just change, and that's if it goes all the way until 2025 before the next election. But Mark, this election is not just for Guyana. This election can be world changing. And you may say, well, why do you say that Guyana is a small country? Well, the normal rule of thumb and the normal trend is that when these big companies come into countries like Guyana, Mark, I'm not going to say that Guyana is a third world country, but quote unquote, in the minds, in the heads of the big companies, Guyana is a third world country. Okay, when you come into this country, you see poverty, right? You don't try to improve it. You leave the country unstable, economically unstable. We can change that. We can change that. The people of Guyana could change that with their vote.
The elected officials who are there they're the ones have to be doing. I noticed a comment here from Hazel Johnson. The opposition leader lost their dreams. The opposition leader saying nothing. They show their weakness. Guyana need a better opposition leader. This is what's going on. It's not acceptable. Mr. Crawford, your take on what Miss Hazel Johnson?
Well, I've been saying it all along. I was persecuted. I was cursed out for saying that the current leadership wasn't the correct person to put there, because to fight off the PPP and to make proper gains, you must be able to unify people. You must be able to sell people who don't support you the ideas and the projections of what you want for the country as a group. I know he couldn't have done it because of his personality. He may be a good person in certain areas, but when it comes down to general leadership, it's not there. And Wayne was alluding to the money's not, the Guyanese people don't know where it is or what it's being used for. That is where the opposition is supposed to be hammering every single misstep. That is what happened when the PPP was in opposition. But I am seeing a lazy mentality. They're there, you jump up for a couple of days and then they go dormant. You got to keep pressing these people. And it's unfortunate that this platform has to be ponging them every single night, just for the sake of all Guyanese, to make sure that they do what is supposed to be done for the people. And it's an unfortunate situation when you have elected officials who are paid by the people to do their bidding, and we are not seeing it done on a consistent basis. And there lies our problem. That's why the PPP can afford to behave in the manner it behaves in and don't give a damn, because the international people, they are not going to tell their buddies anything. Hence the reason why their tongues are so silent.
When we look back, good points, Mr. Crawford. When we look back at Winston Jordan, and we're seeing a lot of people are agreeing that the opposition is really weak. But let's not lose focus. I may tend to agree with them that the opposition leader or the opposition, they need to do much more. They need to wake up. We are seeing some vibrant, a few of them are out there, they're doing their bits, but something else is missing. But let's not lose focus. We want the people to go out and ensure that the New Amsterdam doesn't fall into the hands of the PPP. Georgetown doesn't fall into the hands of the PPP. Linden doesn't fall into the hands of the PPP. Neither should Bartica or Madhya. Let's not lose focus. The PNC will have their Congress. They should have their Congress sometime this year. They should have. And it's up to them now to whether they want to go with this current leader or leadership into a national elections, or to elect someone that would possibly take them over that victory line. It's up to them to make that decision. But Mr. Caesar?
Yeah, Mark, just to add to that, I know, Mr. Crawford, and many think that the opposition is weak. I don't think that they're weak. I think they're just not executing the way that they should. Good. Here's an example. It's been requested that the president of Guyana engage the opposition concerning the acting chancellor of the judiciary and concerning the chief justice. He has not. We all know that, and look, I'm going to say this. Irfan Ali is not the brightest guy out there.
Irfan Ali is not a bright guy. Not even.
All right, Mark, thank you for clarifying it even better for me.
Irfan Ali is a dunce, but let's face it.
All right, good, Mark. Accept it. In this case, Mr. Norton, you've got to make this public. Reach out to him in a letter, make the letter public. We already know that you have agreed that these two individuals should be made permanent, to sit there permanently. But just to show the world, because look, the reason why these two women are not permanent in their position, Mark, I'm going to use a couple of things. The fact that they're females, that's number one. Number two, they are Afro-Guyanese. So, leader of the opposition, I would like you to send out a request to Mr. Irfan Ali, telling him that you want to, speak with him on these matters. Don't wait for him, because they're not going to do it. Show the world that you're taking the first step.
To Norton's credit, he has done it several. What more? All of us know that it's on the part of the dunce, Irfan Ali. It doesn't make any sense that Norton sends a letter to Irfan. Irfan can't read the letter.
Well, Mark, a couple of things it proves.
What does it prove?
That the PPP does not want the country to move forward. That's number one, because this is a part of having the country move forward.
For 23 years, the PPP couldn't do anything to move the country forward. They destroyed NIS. They destroyed Gaisuco. They destroyed the bauxite industry. They destroyed the electricity company. They destroyed tourism. Everything they destroyed. Every single thing they destroyed. They destroyed UG. They destroyed the technical institutes around the country. They even destroyed the madhouse, the Borbis madhouse. Well, they didn't just destroy it. They transferred it into Parliament and Freedom House. Everything they touch is the opposite of the Midas touch. Everything they've destroyed, they destroyed the future of young people. Just imagine if another party was in office for that 23 years, these vagabonds, these no good, these Nimakaram, these Chamars, these Katahars were in office for. Just imagine if a caring government, because look, we can say all we want to say about the coalition. For 3+ years, we started to see signs that the country was going to be turned around into a positive direction, because of what the PPP did. Wreck the country inside out. Now they're running around with little oil money they're getting from Exxon and a little donation money they're getting from some money launderers and some gold smugglers, and they're going into New Amsterdam and giving out the people money to bribe them into thinking that they love them. Do you think Jack Dave and them love that oversized, not oversized crap? Oh, I must apologize. Do you think the PPP and Jack Dave love Barbara Pilgrim and others in New Amsterdam? And again, I apologize for saying oversized crap. Oh, I didn't really mean that.
Mark.
But do you think they love them? No, they don't. They want to use them. And these people, because you're getting a little crumbs, oh, we can eat now. The coalition didn't do anything. And Barbara Pilgrim was mayor of New Amsterdam. She was a member of parliament. She was in a position of power. The question is, what did she do? It's all about using. Then they go to Linden. They're going to use some of them there. They're going to use Kashif. They're going to use Shanghai. They're going to use everybody that they can use. They're going to use them. It's not that they care about them. It's not that they care about their community. You think the PPP cares about Linden? You think Jack Gay cares about Linden? You think they care about New Amsterdam? If Jack Gay and the PPP were so concerned about New Amsterdam, they would not have put that bridge, that Jack Gay passage at the mouth of the Berbice River Bridge. They would not have put it leading into Palmyra, because when you lead all the traffic into Palmyra, it cuts off on the left and goes straight up the quarantine and to hell with the people in New Amsterdam. It was basically to stifle economically and otherwise to punish the people of New Amsterdam. Then suddenly they want the people in New Amsterdam to feel that they care about them. Jack Gay and the PPP and Irfan Ali do not care about the people of New Amsterdam. Somebody was saying something, either Crawford or go ahead. I sometimes get a little bit emotional, but go ahead, Mr. Crawford.
Mark, when you talk about New Amsterdam and you talk about the bridge, back then it was a war against the Muslims and the blacks economically. Hence the reason for putting the bridge there. What happened nowadays is a backfire now, and there is two factions in the PPP. Now that the Muslim has gotten hold of Irfan and the Brotherhood is leading the charge from behind, that is where you see the problem. And New Amsterdam is going to see stuff there because the majority of the big businesses are Muslim owned as compared to Hindu people. So that was the tug of war there. And now eventually we'll see the bridge, either a next bridge is being built or the bridge is going to be moved from there. Now, as compared to the former mayor of New Amsterdam, I want her to take me to court.
But even you're about to say that we use the word alleged, it's being broadcast via
No. I hold on a second.
to
I'm going to talk. I'm saying this is me that it was told to. That the same people that are causing up to her now. She had so many derogatory comments about Dinesh Jaiprasad as her replacement in Parliament that she spoke to my face, and I grinned. I could see the resentment and all the bad mouth. That's why she never helped Dinesh to transform as a young parliamentarian. He had to seek advice from otherwise. And I want her to take me to court, and I would say that I have my witnesses who was there, how she badmouthed. And now you're finding the very people in the PPP are cozying up to her when she was degrading a young East Indian person because they were selected to go.
Wait a minute. Forget about oversight. Speaking of Dinesh, is he still a member of parliament?
The last I checked, yes.
But what's going on, JR? We're not hearing much. Is he fighting for the people of New Amsterdam of Region 6? What is he doing, Mr.
I haven't seen him in the footage in New Amsterdam, but on the quarantine, yes, he's doing a little work.
A little work?
Well, I can't say a lot of work. I'm saying a little.
Dinesh, Dinesh is my boy, so to speak, as we say in Guyana. And we give him time here, free time on Bedshop Radio. But for months we have not been hearing much of anything at all.
Well, I meant to ask you the same question because I know he had a program. He went to the States, and I haven't seen him back in the areas. So is the same as Sharma Solomon.
Somebody
So is
said
the same as German Figueroa.
Sharma busy in Linden.
No,
Right?
but you see,
But
this is a
one
time
second.
where they need to come out onto the platform that has been there from the inception.
That's okay. The people, the PNC folks, are going to vote for Linden overwhelmingly. They are Lindeners going to go out and vote.
Well, let's hope
They're
so.
busy out there. But Dinesh is a member of parliament, holds a far higher and more responsibility, a higher position, more responsibility. We're not hearing from Dinesh Jai Prashad. We're not hearing from a lot of these members of parliament. What's going on specifically though with Jai Prashad?
I will have an answer for you by 12 tomorrow.
I'll be calling you at 11:59. Somebody says that Jai Prashad went back to Guyana with an American accent after spending 2 weeks. I don't know.
Well, I will tell you that when I speak to him.
Please do. Somebody's asking where Christopher Jones is. Christopher Jones is probably building a barbershop.
You see, that is the problem here that we're facing, that 31 parliamentarians, and you don't find the teamwork. You're finding a handful of parliamentarians who are beating the drum on a daily basis. The McDonald's, the Fergusons, the Nima Flu, you know, you got to give those people credit, because regardless if RB is slacking off in some areas or not, they respect the people that they serve.
Not to cut you, Mr. Crow, we see those who are working.
Right.
We see Annette is out there protecting the turf. But we wanted these folks when they were in office. There's when they should have been protecting the turf too. But good that they're now protecting the turf. And we see I was hoping that RB would have done some recalling. The legal giant for the coalition right now is Roysdale Ford. But for some reason or the other, I observed that the leadership may want to ostracize him, but we got to keep an eye on that. And that is where dotish politics come in. Mr. Caesar, do you have kudos for any member of parliament that is working? Go right ahead. Let us not make it a bashing of them.
Sure. There's some of the member of parliament that I am really in love with their posture over the past few weeks, I would say 5 weeks or so. Of course, Nima Flubes, she's always up there with Roysdale Ford. Those are two of the most active MPs we have.
Don't mention
along with Annette.
If they're MPs who take selfies and quick photo up and thing, don't mention them, please. Mention those who are actually working. Go ahead.
Working, yes. Nima Flubes, Mr. Roysdale Ford, Miss Coretta McDonald. I'm good with her. Vince Roy Jordan is out there. He's working. He's doing his stuff. Jermaine, you see Jermaine from time to time, so you can't dismiss him, right, Mark? You gotta agree with that. We see Jermaine from time to time. Okay, I don't know Sears. I just hear his name, so I don't know him.
Don't mention names that you don't know, and names that are not working, and names who take selfie all the time and just post it. Don't mention them, please. Don't mention Sears' name. Sears is, look, you're getting me all worked up. He's collecting money, pay under false pretense. You don't see, the only time you see him is tongue weak, when he wind up dance up galang. If those are the type of people that we could have as MPs, something is wrong. Next time around, those people got to go. They got to go. But continue, sir. Sorry about that.
Miss Amanzo Walton this year. I am satisfied with what I'm seeing from her. Very satisfied. And she have this way, when she communicates, it's very frontal, it's very powerful. So people I like that.
People want see people on the ground. Talk about MPs who are on the ground with the people, who are working with the people, who are getting people to come together. I don't need
so Mark,
master and flash.
So Mark, basically you're telling me don't talk about anybody who's in a studio, who's in a kitchen or anything like that. You don't want to hear nothing about that.
Mark,
Okay, Mark, I'm gonna move forward. I rest my case. Over to you.
Mark,
Mr. Crawford, go ahead, sir.
what I would like to see, since that local election is around the corner, those who are up for election, I would like them to approach this platform and be able to reach to their constituency as well as others and try to educate the masses on the reason for supporting them and the party and bring to light issues that are affecting us as a nation, not only as PNC supporters, but citizens of this country. We can't want bench up platform to be fighting the battle for us, and we are not there to educate and to, let people know who we are actually going to cast our ballots for. And I'm kind of surprised that the PNC folks haven't reached out to you to get some airtime and to send their messages out. What would they do for the people of Guyana? I mean, not everything is secrecy and walkabouts. You must be able to face the nation. And so that's how you will get scrutinized by the general masses if you're good enough for the job or not.
Yeah, that's well said. But people, I oftentimes say this, and I stopped saying it, that the opposition doesn't support this. This is a radio station. The opposition doesn't support it. They don't give a cent. We've never asked them for anything. But thankfully, occasionally, when the public, whenever they get something, they may give. That is occasionally, and we don't burden you guys out there. But the opposition, we have said that this. I'm not afraid to say that the station is an opposition, is a station that to stand up for those who support the opposition. But unfortunately, the opposition, they don't support us. They don't support Benchap Radio. They don't support 107.1 FM. Some of them fight against it. And all because we are being objective. They want to sleep on the job. And we mustn't wake them up. They must sleep. They must not go out there and represent the people. And we must sit quietly at Benchap Radio. For them, if Benchap Radio could flop today or tomorrow, a lot of them in the opposition who are elected or selected officials, they love that. But we're not flopping. We still have a voice. We'll continue with that voice, whether they support us or not. And you see, that's the difference between the PNC or the coalition and the people. That's the
You have
difference.
to wait till I'm finished.
Mr. Yeah,
You
go ahead,
see,
Mr. Caesar.
Mark, some people are very, very prone to carry chips on their shoulder, and when you analyze the chip that they're carrying, it doesn't make sense because they puff up or they carry malice for nonsense, things that will harm them more than improve their ability to be out there for the people. And we have to learn to deal with
So,
people
somebody
who are against us.
somebody's saying that the MPs have a life too.
Well, here
No,
you
the
see, that's
MPs
that's the that's
MPs
the
have a
problem.
life, but what we are saying is that the MPs need to get off of social media with silly Facebook
Mark,
and 1 second and selfie and who look good, and people then elect people to see who look good and who they get on the ground and work. Get on the ground and work. That is all. And a lot of them don't work. A lot of them are not on the ground. They're not working. They do what you call a quick drive-by, a quick thing and a snap, and that's it. That's not politics. It's not politics. Go out there in New Amsterdam. Go back to your region. Go back to where you're from and work with the people. Don't believe that your perfume is sweeter than everybody else and that you're better than anybody else. That's not politics. Go down there. Don't wear those long gloves. Them long gloves back in the days of Massa, Mystery, they used to wear them long gloves and them things. Get on the ground and work, man. But go ahead, let Caesar say something, man. Go ahead, Mr. Caesar, as we look at
Ah,
the time.
thank you, Mark. I just want to add a bit to that comment there. You see, that's the thing. You cannot get into something if you're not prepared for it, right? As a public accountant, I serve a lot of huge high end clients, and when we negotiate with these clients, right? We agree, we have a contractual agreement with them, you know? And in this business, sometimes I'm up 16, 17 hours a day, man. So you got to be prepared, man. And I don't see any issue with the MPs being on the ground a bit more, being a bit more frontal, you know, getting out there and rounding up the constituency and edifying the people. I mean, that's the job. That's how you're going to get the votes. You can't get the votes by sitting up in an air conditioned office while the PPP's out there walking around giving out red t shirts and giving out to the taxpayers their own money because the monies that the PPPC is giving out belongs to
Yeah,
the
and
taxpayer. So
oftentimes,
people are not doing
oftentimes,
anything bad when they take that money.
oftentimes, though, Mr. Caesar and Mr. Crawford and our listeners, and these are things when we try to uh, show them the light and how they should do things. A lot of people don't even know who the councillors are. A lot of people don't even know who the mayors and deputy mayors are. And that is what we've been saying. If and when you oftentimes when we try to bring this out, you hear some of the councillors or the mayors and them. So we don't get paid, you know. If you know it's a non-paying position and that you can't do much, well, don't accept the goddamn position. If it's a non-paying position, oh, we only get a stipend. You didn't know that before you became a councillor. You didn't know that before you became a mayor, a deputy mayor. That is only a stipend you get. Come on. This time around, that's why I'm saying that I'm batting and we are batting for the people of New Amsterdam and we're asking them to go out and for vote against the PPP, vote for the coalition. In Georgetown, vote for the coalition. In Linden, vote for the coalition. In Bartik and so forth, Corriverton, even Rosal. Let's try to take some tongues that we don't have and let's try to maintain what we have. But after this local government elections, whoever are the councillors elected and the mayors and deputy mayor, trust me, from day one, they got to hit the ground and start working because we're going to call them out right here on 107.1 FM. As we look for the closing remarks here from who first? JR?
Mark, when you hear parliamentarians or elected officials are saying that they have a life or whatever it means, one, if you know that you're going to serve the people, elected government official is like a salary worker in the first world country where you're on the clock 24 hours. If there's a call for you to go back to your location, you have to do it. You can't say that, you're off the clock. And the parliamentary affairs should be paramount. If you have a job that is more important, you need to be honest with the people of the country and resign the position so someone who can operate within the guidelines of being a representative for the people to take that position. On the other hand, when whoever selected our parliamentary folks, I mean, yeah, you tried to put new faces, but they should take some of the burden to select people who are not 100% committed to the position that they accept. Because again, you short the people of the country their proper representation. The PPP folks, they're never saying they have another. They may have businesses, but they will dare not say that they can't do the people's bidding or the masses bidding before their own. So we have to change that mentality, and we have to start to see if someone is put in their position and they do not perform. We have to do a biannual assessment, and if someone is for 6 months cannot be productive for the people, then we need to change them. That's why we have that list there with so many names that can replace somebody in the event it has to happen. Two, what I would like to see is that the opposition, RB needs to say, hey, I have to be on the ground. I have to have my team, not only because somebody is running in a particular region, that we wouldn't see other parliamentary people from other regions in this region. You have to be able to go and flip flop so people will get to know who the team members are, who are going to be the office bearers for our responsibilities, our services.
One second, Mr. Crawford. That bell is a distraction. They're
That's not my
confusing.
bell.
Whoever
Not
has
in
a
my end.
bell, please, we don't
That
ring
ain't
bell
my
here. We
bell.
get other stuff done. And this is not knocking who ring bell. Those who want
This
to
is
ring bell,
not
but
this
we
is not
don't
on my end. I
ring
don't have no
bell
bell
here.
in my house.
Do not ring bell on this program, please, guys. Go ahead.
Right. And to the MPs that are there that are just doing these photo ops, cut the crap. You're doing the people a disservice. You're disrespecting yourself because you're earning monies from taxpayers, but the goods and services are not being dealt with. And these are not behaviors that we as a struggling nation wants to see from people who are there to represent our interests. And Mr. Norton needs to get on the ball. He should have been on this platform and others on a consistent basis, weekly basis, to make sure that the people who do support the party or who have intentions of crossing the floor, they're educated as to what the party is about and how they are going to improve Guyanese lives from where it is today tomorrow.
Thank you. Well said, Mr. Crawford. Mr. Caesar. Go ahead, sir. I hope you turn your bell off, but go ahead.
Yes, Mark, that's my bill. I guess we have something
Please, please,
moving around on the lawn outside. Sorry. I'll
no
make
bell.
sure I correct that for the next
Please,
show.
no bell, please. But go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Um, I just want to close by just reminding the Guyanese people that, we are still in a position in Guyana where we are not seeing cash flow to the people. And I recall when the coalition had took power in 2015, there was a lot of people that was complaining about cash flow. So I just want to explain to you guys from a economist perspective. You're going to experience that when you had an economy that was propped up by cocaine dealings and drug dealings and money laundering. So basically, the coalition was correcting your economy every time, and from time to time, an economy will correct itself. From time to time, the stock market will correct itself. So that being said, I want you guys to save that. So, because once power is changed again in Guyana, you're going to experience this again, where the economy is going to have to correct itself. Okay? Every government have a different approach. There's a right approach, and of course, there's an incorrect approach. And I must say, the PPP is using the incorrect approach. They're taking care of infrastructure, and the place is still flooding with 15 minutes of rain. They're leaving the people undone. They're not taking care of the Guyanese people. The Guyanese people continue to live in poverty. My next point is that the Attorney General of Guyana need to stop attacking the magistrates and attacking and criticizing their rulings. We need to have some sort of independence in Guyana, especially when it comes to the judiciary system. Okay? I noticed the Attorney General was in Enmore North a few days ago, being the referee in a land dispute. Now, I want to say again, and Mark, I did make this point on your morning show that I was on about a week ago. Where are we with the cases of Courtney Crum Ewing, Trevor Rose, Peter Headley, the Henry Boys, Harish Singh? Where are we with these cases? I'm going to even go back to Ronald Waddle. Where are we? These cases needs to be solved. There is work to be done. You
We
shouldn't
even
be
got
out in
fresh
the street
cases.
dealing with land disputes.
We got all these
What's
cases
up
with
with the paper shorts case? Yes.
all these cases indeed. But and let us not forget this one here as well. Whatever happened to her?
Yeah, and Mark, what happened with the Ashley Singh Brassington case also? What happened with the Irfan Ali 19 fraud charges? What's up with the Barry Jagdeo and Sue Gate? What's up? What are we doing here? But he's not
Good
going to
question.
address those things. That's for the opposition to keep on the front burner. Barajagio is corrupt. There's no doubt about it. We caught him fair and square on camera trying to make a deal. That was Barajagio sitting in the corner there. I would have to be blind not to know that it's that ball man that was.
Before we go, I want to address this person, Cheryl Saunders, whoever Cheryl Saunders is saying 52% of people vote for the coalition. They're not a part of the real struggle. When called for protest, they're hiding like rats. They got to be inspired, and people want elected officials. They want to see their elected officials out there on the ground who are brave, who are saying that this is what I'm doing. I'm going into my communities. There are a few of them who are doing that, and I say kudos to them. They're just a few of the MPs who are working very hard, and I respect and I salute them for doing that. The bulk of them are sweet boy and sweet girls. Cheryl Saunders said, oh, they're social, people are social butterflies and so forth. Nobody's saying that they can't be on social media. Nobody's saying that. But I didn't vote for these elected officials to come on social media to represent me. People didn't vote for them to be represented on social media. Social media get representatives. They get Crawford, they get Caesar, they get lots of others. They get even George Shishi and others can represent them on social media.
And James Bond.
So I don't want anybody to come and give excuses as to why the bulk of them are not working. There's no excuses for them, none whatsoever. Let them get their lazy butts and go out there on the ground and work and campaign for the people. Simple as that. Because if we can't see them now, just imagine if they were to become ministers. Oh, gosh. Anyways, I've got to go. I got to go, guys. Oh, sorry, Mr. Caesar. Were you done with your point? Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make one more point. As we're talking about the MPs on the ground, what they can also do, Mark, they can also have copies of the Guyana Constitution available and hand out to the people, and kind of highlight some of the key points in the Constitution so that people can, actually know their rights. Because I think a lot of people are indeed scared. They are indeed scared. And Mark, this comes back to the international community and what they've done across many countries in the world. They have just put criminals in charge of the country, oppress the people, and just steal out all their wealth. But like I said before, when you're dealing with Guyanese, you're dealing with a different type of people. We are not going to sit down and allow people to just walk into our country, trample on our constitution, and rip us off for everything that we have. We know, and I would say this, that Guyana was won on the blood of our ancestors, and we refuse to just lay down and give up their hard work.
All right, well said. Sarah Lynch is on her way out. Farewell party coming up in just about 48 hours or so, and then she's out of the country. Farewell, Sarah Ann Lynch, U.S. Ambassador to Guyana. And the incoming ambassador, has still yet to be officially confirmed by the Senate, Nicole.
That guy been watching too much in the ring.
Good night to Sharon Duncan. And, Sharon does his stuff with this bell. It's okay. We all don't necessarily have to be the same. And I sometimes have a little dry humor. People might think I'm against them. People might think that I don't like the... Here goes that bell again. I feel you're sabotaging this show, Mr. Caesar. I feel you're sabotaging this show. But there's nothing personal against the MPs. We just want the MPs to go out and work. That's all. We want them to go out and work. It's not, and when you constructively criticize them or critique them, they feel as though, oh, Ben Sharp against me. No, I'm not against them. I want them to work. That is why we voted for them. Wait, like the bell dropped down. The bell dropped down. Oh, okay, there you are. Yeah. All right. So we've got to go though, Mr. Crawford. Thank you so much for your time. And to all of our listeners out there, look, we've got to ensure that our elected officials in the opposition work for us. We can't expect them to have this sort of approach going into national elections. If this is the approach going into national elections, kya teach we did it. Mark my word. Kya teach we did it. We got to
Definitely.
change them now. Right? In this local government elections, we want to see our elected officials. We want to see our MPs on the ground. We want to see the MPs for Region 6. We want to see them in New Amsterdam. We want to see all the councillors out there as well. We want to see them in Rosal, in Corriverton, helping Anil and those other guys. And when I say Anil Sugrim, he is a councillor out there in Corriverton, along with others. Go out there and help them as well. Gosh, I don't know. Sometimes I feel when we talk, they hate us more. But they don't support us. They don't give us anything here. We give them more, and we will continue to give them. We open this platform here for MPs who want to work, not who just want to talk, who want to work.
Mark, that being said, it's really important for the MPs to be on the ground because, starting this race off, they're at a disadvantage from a financial perspective because the PPPC has all the money at their disposal. So they're able to give out monies at will. So
but
we need
they're giving out. But people are smarter than that. Mandela Gandhi said, look how he's losing all his feeble cases. That Nimakaram Kota, right? Kata, or Katahar too, right? That's Anil he's talking about. But look who's beating him. Roysdale Ford. Not look who. Roysdale Ford is way ahead of Anil any day, anytime. Any day, anytime. Thanks again, Roysdale
Ford. So is Selwyn Peters.
Way ahead. But Selwyn Peters is not an elected official. Roysdale Ford is. He's an MP. He's a senior counsel. And he's doing a heck of a good job representing the coalition. A heck of a good job. I leave you guys with that by saying thanks again to Roysdale Ford for what he has been doing. And that is why I'll make this suggestion that maybe they should put him as the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. I'll just leave it at that. But for now, again, thank you so much, Mr. Crawford. Thank you for your words. And Mr. Caesar, the next time you're on this show, please turn on your bell volume. Please turn it down. It's a distraction from real work. Your bell is a distraction from real work. I've got to go. God bless you all. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Mr. Crawford.
Good night. Good night,
everyone. See you in New Amsterdam.
I will. I'm already working on the blueprint.
I got you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I will give you a call on tomorrow on the other issue.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right. There goes. There goes. There goes. Somebody's saying Roysdale Ford for AG. Roysdale Ford should have been AG under the coalition, but maybe Roysdale Ford for other stuff other than just AG. You never know, right? But for now, my name is Mark Benchap. I'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time. Somebody sent me a picture, said that Barbara Pilgrim got put out from where she used to live. I don't know. Look, you guys stop sending me these sort of photos. I'm almost certain. Are you sure this is Barbara Pilgrim's house? Come on, guys. Stop playing around. Anyways, I've got to go. See y'all tomorrow. Same place, same time. Mark Benchap saying, God bless you all. So long.
And you're confident that you're going to deliver credible and fair elections?
Of course. Only one way I know, and that is the correct way.
Yeah, this is the elite team. The root team. Strong team.
Number one.
PPP team. Source. Maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you, or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jerome?
Su. Oh, Su.
Guyana, really nice. Guyana, it's a nice place.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Where ignorance is bliss, it's folly to be wise. What is a dumb boy and a parrot? Open my eyes. In the morning when I gone to work and leave me house, like my girlfriend used to entertain, she boyfriend rouse. Every evening I would feed this parrot red pepper, and the dumb boy used to get a half of my supper. We became friends because I was kind, and this is how they trying to tell me in pantomime. The boy said, ooh, ah, e, oh, oh, and he pointing straight at me back door. Hey, 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 the parrot say, walla, walla, bing, bang, in there.